Hey, what it do, family? What it do? It is your boy King Dave, and I'm checking in once again. And as you can see here, I have on this dashiki poncho that I got specifically for National Dashiki Day. And it ran me about $35 from Marshall Designs. It is made directly in West Africa. So it ain't none of that processed Asian Chinese crap. This is the real deal. I'm telling y'all, go out and support Marshall's Designs. I will definitely be supporting them in the near future. So now that I've plugged them, this video is entitled The Gospel of Commitment According to King David. And the gospel is the good news. So it is the good news of commitment according to Why. And as always, as you know, I always have to give you guys background and context, you dig? So, there is a concept of a triangle, and it is the spiritual, physical, and mental. And I came up with this concept, say about 6 to 8 years ago. And I was in a gospel group called God's Disciples, and there was a big issue of commitment, not only with the members of the group, but also our manager. You dig? So when he decided that he wanted us to start doing Bible studies before each rehearsal, I, being the oldest, was the first one up to bat. So I somehow sat down, and the Creator put on my mind this concept of an equilateral triangle. And I had it in my notebook for some years. And when the pastor asked me to show Hidden Colors 1 during one of his absences, I actually stumbled upon the old lesson that I did, and I got to reading it, and I was like, this is some good stuff. Now, mind you, I wrote this when I was like 21, 22. I'm 29 now. And, I was very impressed with myself. I'm like, that's some good stuff. I want to take it and I want to rework it and build on the platform that I had set before when I previously wrote out that Bible lesson. So basically, it had been sitting in my notebook, and after I found it, I kept saying to myself that I am going to rework this. I am definitely going to rework this, and it sat on my table, and it sat, and it sat, and I kept looking at it, and I was like, I'm gonna rework this. For real though. And one night, I walked past it for the final time, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rework this tonight. So what I did, I took the premise that I had, and I sat down with a pen and paper, because my pen game is cold, and I sat down like an MC. I completely wrote everything out. And as I kept milling over, because, oftentimes when I write something, it's never complete the first time around, much like an MC, so you gotta add it, subtract stuff, tweak it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So I wrote it out. Took me like 5 hours straight, just straight going hard with the pen. And I was like, that'll work. That's definitely gonna work. It is a piece of hot fire, hot monkey lava. And I say that because I am confident in my abilities. I've always been confident in my pen game. And now that I'm older, it's no different. So I'm not bragging on myself. I'm not being cocky. I'm just confident. So I reworked it. I wrote it out. I sent out a my email to some of my closest confidants to let them read the unfinished version, because when I finally actually typed it up on the computer, it wasn't done. I hadn't proofread it. I haven't, done my final tweaking and stuff. So it was an unfinished version, got rave reviews. Everybody enjoyed it. And, of course, got to do a video about it. I got to share it with the fam. But the thing is, the paper, you just get the points. Boom, 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 boom. With the video, you get the background information and all the context. So here I am today to present to you the gospel of commitment according to King David. Okay, so the base word of commitment is commit. What does it mean to commit? The dictionary tells us that commitment means to give, entrust, to do, and to obligate. The dictionary also tells us that commitment means an act of pledging, an act of promising, or the state of being so committed, a pledge or a promise or a deep involvement. You see, commitment are the foundation and building blocks for a healthy and successful life. Without these two key components, you are guaranteed to fail at essentially everything in your life. First and foremost, you have to fully commit yourself to the God in yourself before you can successfully do anything in your life. All lives are made up of these three essential elements: your spiritual, which is at the top of the triangle, your physical, which is on the left side, and your mental, which is on the right. Now, your physical and mental can be swapped because they're in your bottom corners of the triangle, but the spiritual is always at the top because it is the most important, and you'll find out why in just a second. So, first and foremost, you have to fully commit yourself to the God in yourself before you can do anything successfully in your life. All lives are made up of these three essential elements: spiritual, physical, and mental. If you don't fully commit to all three things equally, your life will be unsuccessful. These three things make up your personal triangle. The goal is to have an equilateral triangle, equilateral meaning all sides being equal. If one of your sides is off, your life will be off as well. Now let's stop right there. So what I mean about one of your sides being off is if you are lacking in physical, on the physical side of your triangle, you are going to be physically unhealthy. If you're lacking in the spiritual, then typically all three things are unbalanced because your spiritual sets the precedence for the physical and the mental, and so on and so forth. So, the further you're off your triangle is from being equal, the further you will be from being whole. Basically, whatever side of the triangle is off, that will equally reflect your life. You will be physically, mentally, or spiritually sick, and we know that sickness comes in all forms. Also, there are levels to the sicknesses that you will have in your body. Okay. Spiritual. The spiritual third of the triangle is at the top because it's the most important out of all the elements. Your spiritual health is the most important because it sets the tone for your physical and mental health. If you are spiritually healthy, then you are far less likely to be physically or mentally sick. Let me repeat that. That's important. If you are spiritually healthy, then you are less likely to be physically and mentally ill. It's powerful stuff we dealing with here. Let's continue. Committing to your spiritual health is listening to the nurturing spirit of the Creator that resides inside of you. When connected more to the Creator, the more you understand that your place in society is not at the bottom. The more you understand that is your destiny to be successful, whatever your definition of success is. Pause. What is your definition of success? I don't know. Mine is to be an entrepreneur. And not only that, it is to build a nation. That's what we trying to do out here in my community. We trying to build a nation. Trying to practice group economics. If I can get my people on a level to where they understand this concept, then I feel that I am successful. I have many definitions of success. Those are just a few that I have shared with you today. So, when connected with the source, you won't let someone walk all over you, no matter what the consequences are. Only by understanding the spiritual energies, you understand that we were not created to suffer and move through life sluggishly. We were created to excel and soar to heights previously unknown. Do you seriously think we were created to be a slave? What kind of God will create someone just to be subservient to another individual? If you did that, then you wouldn't be God, because God is impartial. How can you be the God of this people and not the God of that people if you the God that created everything? Just some thoughts. Just some thoughts. So, when you are in alignment with Creator and knowing all that you are capable of, you know that being physically and mentally ill while in our fleshly form simply will not do. Which brings me to the physical side of our triangle. Welcome to the physical side of our triangle, where your body is the living temple. I'm not here to tell you what to eat and what not to eat, but to merely give you some perspective on how and why you should take care of your physical vessel. We should take care of our bodies. Why should we take care of our bodies? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. It's imperative to take care of our bodies because you should want to live a long and healthy life. You cannot be truly happy in life by being sick, bedridden, and doped up for most of it. Let me repeat that. You cannot be truly happy in life by being sick, bedridden, and doped up for most of it. So, that's important. Very important. Or towards the end of your life. You know, you don't want, of course your body's going to start to break down at the end of the life. But by doing these things, you can prevent a lot of heartache and pain you will have towards the end of your days. You dig? Okay, so we know not only will the sickness kill you, but the cure, and I use that term cure loosely, the cure will cure you faster than the diseases in some cases. Can you truly be satisfied with your life while fighting your body for every step, every breath, I wouldn't be. The true cure for the body is to eat right and exercise. It's a method called routine maintenance or preventative maintenance. Let me stop right there. There are so many people who are spiritually ill that causes them to be physically ill. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of people who know the Bible, but you're spiritually ill because, like we just talked about, if you're spiritually sound, if you're spiritually well, then you would want to eat right and exercise. I know people who the doctor has told them to change your diet, to lose weight. I know some people who need hip surgery, knee surgery, some type of lower body surgery, and the doctor has told them to lose weight in order to get the surgery. And you're going to have some months of pain, but after you get that hip replacement, that knee replacement, after you do your rehabilitation, you're going to feel brand new. I know a guy who got his leg amputated because he wouldn't slow down on the fried chicken. Every night, fried chicken. His doctor told him, slow down on the fried chicken. Didn't do it. Lost his leg. And also had another problem with his equilibrium because the doctor messed him up. So now the brother can't walk without a cane because his equilibrium is messed up. His balance is messed up. He can't balance himself any longer. He's got to walk with that old third leg. Let's continue. Slow down on the pork, like we were just talking about. The fried chicken, slow down on the pork, slow down on the beef. Eat more fish and poultry, fresh fruits and veggies. Eat more home-cooked meals. Get a good workout in at least 2 to 3 times a week. And I guarantee not only will you lose weight, but you'll feel better as well. I personally lost about 30 pounds doing this very method, so it works. I'm not going to tell you anything, family, that I know doesn't work. I don't do that. It's true. That's not to say that you're going to be perfectly physically healthy. There's very few people in this world who are perfectly physically healthy. But you're going to be healthier. You're not going to be morbidly obese. You're going to try to take care of yourself as best you can. You dig what I'm saying? So everything I talk about, I speak from experience. Or, for a fact, I know it works. I wouldn't tell you anything that I don't trust in myself. I don't do that. So, last but not least, let's move on to the final piece of our puzzle, which is your mental state, your dome. So, thank you for visiting the brain, which is the central control center for not only your body, but also your spiritual awareness, which is housed in your pineal gland. My father always used to tell me, a man never stops growing. The moment you stop growing is the day you die. You see, the brain is a tool. Let's just call this tool a knife. Have you ever tried to cut something with a dull knife? It doesn't work very well, does it? Nah, not so much. Okay, so the sharper the blade, the more efficient it is, right? Right. So, our brains are pretty much the same way. The difference is that the more you use a brain, the more you use a blade, the duller it becomes. The less you use your brain, the duller it becomes. Either way, both tools need to be sharp in order to work their best. Now, my father wasn't referring to a physical growth or death. He was referring to a life and death of the mind. It is important to study and to understand what you're dealing with in order to make your life easier. Okay? The more you understand about what you're dealing with, the easier it becomes to navigate through life's situations. In fact, learning the process isn't quite good enough. You have to know all the steps necessary in order to reach your goal, and the only way to know is by doing. Only by ingraining the process into your body will you truly know what it takes to understand, only by ingraining the process into your body will you truly understand what it takes, because now you have what's called muscle memory. It is literally ingrained into your body. Take white supremacy, for instance. If I don't learn all the nuances of white supremacy, and nuances being ins and outs, if I don't learn all the ins and outs of white supremacy, not only will I not reach my full potential, but I could also be lynched in the process. Then my life will be cut short before achieving all that I am capable of. Not to mention that studies have shown that by reading often you greatly reduces your chance of getting Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a form of dementia where you start to lose your memory, like literally your brain cells start to erode. Sometimes it's short term, sometimes it's long term, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it gets so bad to where the person who has Alzheimer's doesn't even know who they are, who you are. Okay? So only by sharpening your mind do you understand that life isn't about hating another individual. It's about living in peace and harmony with nature and your fellow man. Oh, I'm sorry, lost my place. It's naturally written in our essence to live in peace, but because certain individuals are ignoring the godlike principles naturally ingrained in us, people who choose to live our lives in the light can often be overshadowed by those who choose to live their life in darkness. And that could be anybody, but for the most part, the people who choose to live their life in darkness are the Wazungus. I learned a new word here recently, Wazungus, Caucasoids, the white man, the European. Okay? Got that good old notification right there. Chapter 12 in verse 14, it tells us to pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. Now, I'm not a religious Bible thumper by any means, but I guess quite a few people didn't get that memo. Either that, or they choose to live their life in darkness, or completely ignore, the principles that the Creator had already instilled in us, before birth. So, we weren't created to have dominion over another man. Wasn't meant to be like that, but certain people choose to have dominion over you. So, just let that sink in. But I digress. Those people choose to practice devil-like concepts instead of God-like principles. That there are so many of us that are ignorant to the point that we fall for the same okie doke every time. Let me say this before going on to the closing remarks. I always work the elections. I've been working the elections for about 4 years. And this here election, you had Trump versus Hillary, evil versus evil, white supremacy versus white supremacy. And so many black people were going out to rush to vote for Hillary, not knowing that Hillary is racist. And they just, I'm voting for Hillary. You'd be like, oh, God. just got to roll your eyes. Because we are so politically ignorant. We're politically dumb. We are. Even a Muslim brother I was chopping it up the other day. Well, Hillary not racist. Yes, she is. Her and her husband are responsible for incarcerating over 2 million black men. And here's when I get them. Oh, so Hillary's not racist. Okay, have you heard of Margaret Sanger? Most people haven't, because most people haven't done the research, right? Right. So, Margaret Sanger is the woman who started Planned Parenthood, known white supremacist, and flat out said that I'm starting this program to kill black babies. She believed that we were scourge of the earth, and she believed that we should be purged. And she even got the brokers, pastors, to co-sign her and get the people in his church to go along with the Planned Parenthood. That's Hillary's idol. So therefore, Hillary's racist. Point blank, period, the end. Now for our closing remarks. Now that I have taken you through my concept of a holistic lifestyle by patterning your life after the equilateral triangle that I have laid out before you, you should be able to take this knowledge and run with it. Build with it. Spread this information to the sick and needy throughout your life's journeys. In doing so, you are practicing the godlike principles that were given to us before birth. Remember, you heard it here first from me, King David, and all concepts thought up of and written by me. And before we get out of here, I just want to say, I believe that the ancients practiced this very system. Might not have been exactly how I laid it out before you, but they definitely understood the importance of the triangle, because you figure a pyramid is just a three-dimensional triangle. So, I believe that they knew this concept, and I believe that they lived it out in their daily lives. That's why no one to this date has ever even come close to the peace and prosperity that the ancients, our ancients, not the European ancients, but the African ancients, practiced and had in Africa and globally. I just wanted to add that in there because I think that's important. So, with that being said, I'm King David. You can reach me at Google plus at King David 314. You can also reach me at Instagram and Twitter at Fly Till I Die. That's FLYTILLDIEE. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. If you want the written version, shoot me up an email. Hit me up on one of my social media sites. Matter of fact, let me give you my email address. It's Landrum, LANDRUM, period, Dave, DAVE, at Gmail. That's Landrum, LANDRUM, period, Dave, at Gmail. If you would like a written copy to be able to have and to be able to study, please let me know. I'm King David. Thanks for listening. It's always good to chop up game with the family. I believe this is important. This is some hot monkey lava that needs to be distributed globally. Take it, run with it, build with it, spread the word, spread the message. Peace, love, and chicken grease.